Arsenal Football Club are in advanced talks to sign Gabriel Jesus from Manchester City this summer in a deal ranging, depending on the reports, from 25 million to 35 for the signing of the striker and a salary of around £6 million per year. Of course, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has already left Arsenal, and not bringing in a replacement, not so much Aubameyang's goals because he wasn't scoring, but not replacing him, not bringing in another goal scorer in January could be the difference between Arsenal making it into the Champions League and qualifying for the Europa League this year. Lacazette's contract is still up in the air. He is a free agent in the summer and could very well be on his way. Of course, he did a big interview this week, which triggered a fair number of Arsenal fans. They were frustrated with the fact that he was essentially flirting with leaving, talking about his options. Gabriel Jesus is Premier League proven. He's a winner. He's been under the tutelage of Pep Guardiola, of course, known to Mikel Arteta when he was, of course, the assistant manager at Manchester City. This could represent an excellent piece of business. And when I say Prem proven, I always caveat that with simply saying this. You know he can do it here. There is less of a risk than a player that we haven't seen in the Prem or already at a big club where there is higher pressure to win each and every single game. Now, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal is advanced. This is the Done Deal Show. Let's do it. The claim here made by a sports witness said that Gabriel Jesus is in very advanced talks with Arsenal. Edu Gaspar approached the player's agent, and while everything has been agreed between Arsenal and Gabriel Jesus, now all is needed is an agreement with Manchester City. This is coupled by a separate report today that claims that Gabriel Jesus is no longer in Pep Guardiola's plans, and Manchester City have put the Brazilian striker up for sale. Now, what I want to say about this is very clear. I spoke about it last summer. More and more people started to understand this. This is the way of the vast majority of transfers now. Arsenal did something very different in January where they put a bid in, which was reportedly acceptable to Fiorentina for Vlahovic, but the player hadn't agreed to join. That always leaves you open to scrutiny. It always leaves you open to scrutiny if the player then rejects you because it's very public by that point. This is the standard, stereotypical way of buying a player in 2022. You speak to the agent, generally via intermediaries. You get the deal done with the player. You get the buy-in from the individual to come to your club. Then you go and talk to the potential seller, in this case, Manchester City. Now, the reports, as we've just said, appear to state that he's no longer part of Pep Guardiola's plans. And this is very likely. This is very, very likely indeed. We know that Haaland is going to be on his way to Manchester City. There's no doubt about it. But of course, they've also signed a young player whose name I now can't remember. They signed a young striker in the January window that's coming on the summer. He went back on loan as an example. But the point I'm making is they are going to bring in a player like Haaland. There's the other young striker from South America, as I say, whose name has eluded me somewhat whilst I'm recording this live on the air. I'm now just frantically searching to try and find the name. Julian Alvarez, that's it. I was waiting for it to come up. I just literally couldn't remember his name for a second. They signed him from River Plate. It was River Plate, I believe. And they've got him coming in, and they are going to go for a Haaland. If they can't get a Haaland, they're going to go back for Harry Kane. They are signing one young up-and-coming striker, and they have, of course, they're going to sign an absolute potent killer up front. There is no room in this Manchester City squad for Gabriel Jesus. So even if you weren't informed by anybody official that Man City are probably going to be selling him, you should come to this conclusion yourself with the signings that they've made already, the squad they've got, and the players they are still going to be going after. So it doesn't surprise me as strange that this can't be done. But of course, it will all come down to the price. How much is this going to cost? Now, interestingly, the original report here from Jorge Nicolaya on YouTube via Sports Witness said that if Arsenal can't reach an agreement with Manchester City for Gabriel Jesus, they will wait until his contract expires in 2023 and sign him on a free transfer. However, the most likely scenario is that Man City are expected to ask for only a small compensation. So this is something that appears to be fairly simplistic, fairly easy to get over the line. Now, the big question is it a good enough signing for Arsenal? Is this the type of player that's going to take the club forward? Is this the kind of player that's going to give them a new dimension to their game? Is he as good of a striker as peak Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang? Probably not. Is he better than Lacazette? Absolutely. What can Arsenal realistically attract? And there's two trains of thought here. They could sign a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I think Gabriel Jesus is better. They, of course, tried to sign Vlahovic, couldn't get done. They're not signing any of the absolute tip-top players out there. You could go after an Alexander Isak. Gabriel Jesus, I think, is more proven than him. Still only 25 or so years of age. Gabriel Jesus is a better option. So there aren't very many strikers out there that Arsenal could legitimately sign and beat their competitors to. Gabriel Jesus is an improvement and he's attainable. Now, what's interesting is this. If, for instance, Arsenal do make the Champions League, this may change their train of thought. They may feel a Darwin Núñez, as an example, is more achievable, more attainable. But let's not forget something here. Arsenal have not just lost Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, they're going to lose Lacazette as well. That's two spaces in this team that have opened themselves up. So Gabriel Jesus and somebody else may be the option if they make it into the Europa League. If they do make Champions League, you still sign Gabriel Jesus. You may just be even more ambitious and go for another striker. I think a deal between 20 and 25 million pounds will get this done. We'll get it over the line. He's going to run his contract down. City are going to want some level of compensation. They're not going to want him sitting in the dressing room unhappy because they will be signing a killer this year, Man City. Don't get twisted about that at all. Gabriel Jesus, I think if you make him the main man at a club, give him the responsibility of leading the line, you start him regularly, which for me, I watch the majority of City games. Maybe I miss what maybe he starts a little bit more than I think he does. But I don't really see a player that plays a lot. I don't really see a player that's getting huge amounts of game time, if that makes sense. I'm just going to look here at his stats this current season, as in the games that he's played in, because he doesn't appear to be someone who starts lots of games. Champions League, the second leg against Sporting Lisbon is what he did. Premier League-wise, well, I'm only going to go by games where he's played 90 minutes here. So 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 times this season has he played a full 90 minutes. And there's been like 3 games where he's played like 87 minutes. So he's pretty much started. So only about 10, 11 starts there. That's just me very quickly scanning this. And that was, again, that's an eye test thing. I just don't see him in the lineup every week. I think if you put a player like him into a team where he's the main guy starting every week, you can see a much improved output. Only 3 goals in the league this season, but there is a goal scorer in there. And if you look at his career statistics, they're pretty good. You know, I know the graphics kind of cutting it out a bit there, but almost 90 goals and 45 assists in 229 appearances. But we've got to remember, so many of those 229 appearances have been substitute appearances. He's been brought off. He's never been the main guy. And I think this has always really hindered him in terms of his development and being able to move forward and push his game to that next level. And he's only 25. He'll turn 26 next season. You've got a player here that you could get. Remember, most players peak between 25 and 32. I think he's about to go into his peak. He wants to be loved. He wants a fan base behind him. He wants a manager that believes in him. He could be that individual for Arsenal. This has the potential to be an impeccable signing. And what's great about it, it isn't a huge risk. You're not signing him for 90 million pounds, 200, 300, 400,000 pounds per week. This is a player who's coming in for a fair, not a low sum, but 25 million pounds in this day and age is not particularly massive, as it were. We're going to break down his yearly salary from £6 million. It's £115,000 per week. Again, it's a fair amount of money, but it isn't breaking the bank. It isn't damaging the wage structure at Arsenal, which a lot of Gooners are very eager to not see broken. And of course, you're not going to break it for a player like Gabriel Jesus. You might break it if you were signing Haaland, which of course isn't going to happen. So I think this represents very good business for Arsenal if they can get this over the line. As we said, a number of reports from Europe that this is at an advanced stage. It's kind of interesting that's happening at the same time as City appear to be in an advanced stage and very close to announcing the signing of Haaland, which we'll talk more on that in our next video. But I think this could be very good business for Arsenal Football Club. I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. Please leave us your comments below. Subscribe to the Football Terrace as well and click the bell notification button so you don't miss any more of our content. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.